Hello, my name is Alex Denton, and I'm going to be telling you all about the importance of radio communication in our modern society. So, back in the 1920s, when radio was first being developed as a modern media, the creation and application of it was based solely on two separate groups of individuals. The scientists who helped to create and develop the required science for it, such as Nikola Tesla, and the businessmen who had the ability to market it to companies and make them believe that it was necessary and a requirement for development, such as Guglielmo Marconi. But many today believe that radio is a dying art form simply because the original intended uses have been completely overshadowed by higher ability modern technologies such as television or internet. But outside of the most common modern accepted uses of radio as a means of broadcasting music, typically in people's cars while they're driving, news channels were one of the first uses of radio in modern communication, as well as using radio broadcasts for military campaigns to inform troops of enemy movements or attack patterns. Besides this, there are also many other uses of radio, such as in order to control electronics or transmit information between machines. But overall, though it's common for streaming music and finding news information online, the medium of radio is still necessary for long distance information transmission between machines where wireless or wired internet is not easily available. Alongside standard definition radio stations, there's also internet radio, which is more commonly used nowadays, such as online streaming services like Groove Shark or Last FM or Spotify. These are also aided by satellite radio such as Sirius XM, which often requires paid subscription services, which have a much wider range than regular radio simply because they are created broadcasts by satellites, which have a larger broadcast range than regular radio stations. And internet radio is available anywhere where a clear view of the sky is available. And nowadays, most all vehicles have a radio in them, which allow for free streaming of local stations on FM bands and long-range radio broadcasts, especially at night, on AM radio bands. So, more commonly nowadays, we get the ability to pick up HD radio stations on HD radio, which stations have the ability to broadcast at absolutely no extra cost for much higher quality radio streaming. However, because not only the requirement of a wired or wireless connection to get internet, which is difficult in some low GDP countries because of the cartel-like companies which control the broadcasting, radio is still a very useful medium in which to transmit information and news. AM radio, known as long wave, is primarily used for news and is much longer broadcast range in terms of radius, but at the cost of the quality of the audio going down. However, at night, when the sun does not create an extra layer in the ionosphere, in the atmosphere, the AM radio bands have the ability to broadcast much longer range by bouncing off of this layer of the atmosphere, which allows for intercontinental transmission of AM radio stations. However, FM radio, which is a much smaller frequency, has the ability to broadcast at a higher quality, but it cannot broadcast as far. Overall, the usage of radio transmit news can be broadcast faster than television in most cases, but in some cases not so fast as internet, but has the added ability to be broadcast to people who are driving, which is why news and traffic and weather broadcasts are more popular on radio stations. Bob Edwards, who is a famous radio personality, who was mostly known on NPR and later transferred to XM radio and was one of the first well-known broadcasters to transfer to satellite radio, won a Peabody Award for news and radio station excellence. He once stated that with radio, the listener absorbs everything, simply because, unlike television and internet, which require two senses to absorb, radio only requires one, which means it takes less ability to focus on it while still being able to absorb as much information. Overall, radio is mostly known nowadays for broadcasting music on genre-based stations, which allows people to learn about music they may not normally have been able to find out through any other means, such as the internet. But overall, while radio may not necessarily be the most efficient or heavily developed of all media, it's still a very important and useful one and should be used still for the faster transmission of information. With the added capabilities of internet radio with this, which can be easily accessed and offers a limitless number of radio stations and genres, and as well as transmission in news formats, and the radio is very still much alive and useful as a medium in transmission for information. And the development of radio this day is still occurring, and more creative uses of it are being developed every day. But for now, it's still important to keep radio popular and find new ways to utilize the technology.